Good morning, I'm Kathy Schmidt. I'm a master gardener, and one of my favorite birds is the hummingbird. Columbus was the first European that we know of who saw hummingbirds because they're only present in North and South America. Europeans had never seen them. East of the Mississippi River, we only have ruby-throated hummingbirds, and that's what I try to attract here. Like people, hummingbirds need three things. They need food, shelter, and water. The food is flowers. They basically like anything that's a tubular flower, and particularly red, orange, and yellow. They need a water source, and we have a pond. Otherwise, you can put out a bird bath, or in a minute we'll show you a mister that mists the plants and the flowers. Nectar is really important, and I have two hummingbird feeders. Red is a really good color. If you buy hummingbird feeders, don't get them with yellow ports because that attracts bees, and you don't want bees vying for the nectar. The nectar is simply made with 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of water, but in the fall, before they migrate south, they need to increase their body weight by about 50%. So you increase the sugar to 1 cup of sugar to 3 parts water. Do not add red food coloring. It's no advantage to the birds, and it may actually be damaging to them. The water should be boiled before you use it and then let come to room temperature. And the feeder should be changed every 2 to 4 days, particularly when it's hot. They can get black mold. Wash them carefully with soap and water, but make sure they're rinsed very carefully. And I use small brushes to clean out the tubes. There are lots of different hummingbird feeders. This is one I got in Indiana. It's made out of test tubes, and they're tubular, and hummingbirds really like these, but you have to change them about every day. They suck them dry. I only have 3 to 5 hummingbirds this summer. Out in the country, people will have 20 to 30, but I don't see that many. This is called a pendant feeder, and I like this one because woodpeckers like sweet nectar also, and downy woodpeckers can land on this and drink fluid all summer long. When you clean them, make sure you clean very carefully because this is where the black mold grows. Some people like to sit very quietly in something bright like this or flower colored, and if they hold this every day about the same time, hummingbirds will sometimes come and drink out of your hand. I've never got them to do it, but they'll come to my face anyway. Migration, usually we put out our food about April 15th. Sometimes it's earlier with the warmer weather we've had, but keep your feeders out and filled till about October 15th, or till you have not seen them in your backyard for about a week. Don't let your feeders go dry because they may not come back. The biggest thing is to have lots of flowers that they can get the nectar from. And one of my favorites, I don't know if you can see, it's called a trumpet vine. It grows in the wild and is orange. This one is bright red, and in June there'll be 100 to 200 blooms, but the hummingbirds will actually go right into the flower to get the nectar. Hummingbirds are very, very relaxing to watch. They're the only birds that can fly forward, backward, and upside down. They can fly from 30 miles an hour at cruising speed to 60 miles an hour in the breeding season. The female's nest weighs a quarter. The female herself only weighs about a penny. She lays 2 eggs in a nest, which are made from moss, lichen, and spider web. And the eggs are the size of navy beans. From the time they hatch, about 14 days after the eggs are laid, they fly at 21 days and are therefore on their own. The female hummingbird eats about 2,000 gnats or mosquitoes a day. So it's good to have them around also. We have one that's here. My hummingbirds are very territorial. They chase each other away. Some places you'll see 10 hummingbirds at one feeder. I never get that. But it's a great hobby to have. You don't need to have a huge garden. Feed, water, and trees for their protection. This is another feeder. Again, it's a pendant feeder. This is an ant guard. The ants come down and are drowned in the water so they don't interfere with the hummingbirds. And again, I like the red tubular flower. This is a mandeville. It's one that does not overwinter unless it's taken inside, but it gives a lot of color. And in the garden is a mister which is advertised as Hummingbird's favorite. I run it for half an hour every day. It's good for the plants. Sometimes the hummingbirds fly through it, but I haven't had too much luck as the advertising shows. But it does give them a good source of water. The other feeder is a flat feeder. It actually has bee guards on the inside, and they can sit on the platform rather than hovering as they do at this other platform. But the flowers are very attractive, and I try to plant so that something's in bloom from spring till frost.